oh, say, oh, say, I'm a big biria. Kekima, kikim, kekima, kikim, kekima, 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 kikim, kekima, kikim, kekima, kikim, kekima, 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 eh. Ah, calabariye, eh. Calabariye, eh. Hamati, ha, see, ha. That is the story of my people. That's how we start. It all starts whether the moon was out or not. We knew how to translate our culture into our younger ones through songs and dances and chants. The African is a storyteller, and I am going to tell you a story. As a 7-year-old growing up in town, Port Harcourt, not Diobu, I'm a waterside girl. And my waterside flows all the way to Diobu. And so in a way you can say, I be Diobu Pikin, because I be waterside Pikin. And the story of the waterside, this morning, we saw the boy run all the way straight into the house, right under the table. He hid himself. Then we saw the girl bearing the head of an antelope and a masquerade. She runs right in, and then we hear, Papa. We're all looking for Papa. Where exactly is Papa? Was Papa the antelope? Or was it Papa that killed the antelope? But then she begins to sing. Daye bejio, ebejie, daye bejio, ebeji bibiswa. The culture and tradition of my people are embedded in our songs and in our stories, in our dance steps and in our poetry. In them are planted the history of our people. And I am one of those histories. Maybe history, or is it her story? They say you will tell them and write them after you pass. But no, write those stories now. Tell them to the children now. Let them begin to understand who we are. Let them begin to see our values as a people. Let them begin to understand that there is a difference between a walk and a march, between war and victory. That when they call you a warrior, it is not because you fight. It is because you know the tactics of confronting the enemy and returning home victorious. I am a film maker. In my many years of making films, I have had to read several scripts and written a few myself. We have learned to think that everything white is angelic and everything black is demonic. Somebody has suddenly told all of us, say I say black like devil and say I say white like God. So now, even in choosing our clothes, black is for mourning and white is for wedding. Who tell you that kind of story? Who they share that kind of story give you? When only you they carry, they come, they share, they give your people. This is my injury. You know what this wrapper means? I'm a Siri with 4 different designs representing 4 homes. I tell you, I am a Joe of the Calabari extraction. So it will delight me if someday, as I read the scripts that I'm given, I see Amayanabo written properly as Amayanabo, not Anyanyanabo, because we are not Anyanyanabo and we do not know what that means. So that when I see a name, Ibiere, I know what it means. We can't be so enslaved that our minds are so colonial that even our traditional names now annoys us. In my many years as an actor, as a director, and as a producer, I have had only one thing trouble my mind. When will we begin to tell our stories? When will we become our own voices? When are we going to look at the stage? And of course, today, social media, I have watched that thing transform us every day, even in the way that we market our products, even in the way that we decide who an actor is and who a director is, even in the way that we decide who is telling a story. I have watched the social media change us. When are we going to take that powerhouse that has put both radio, television, and film in our palm? When are we going to use it to tell our own story? It is for that reason that I am here. As a cultural expert, not just for my state, but for the country. When? And I will tell you, yesterday. But we missed it, right? So we start today. How about we start right now? How about you take pictures and let us post it and write on it, the export of the waterside girl. Let's go. So in telling a story, every story has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And in all of this, there are 5 things that must happen. You must introduce something. And then when you introduce it, you build up that story till it gets to a point where there is something called complication. There is a trouble, there is conflict. And then after that, that conflict hits a climax. And there is need for us to try and resolve this whole problem. Then it begins to come down, and then you get to a point where you say, we need to resolve this. Now, it can start either ways, and somebody already said, sometimes the whole essence of everything is in the middle, and we usually avoid the middle. Don't avoid the middle. Let's work on that middle, and then we can begin to resolve, and then it is called resolution. And then sometimes we say, how about we put an epilogue, since we already had a prologue? But does the African story truly go like that? Or do we sometimes start in the middle and then go back to the beginning and then to the end? Or how exactly do we go? And I will tell you how we go. We are always collaborating. So I'm going to say something, and then you're going to respond, because I know that most of you know how we tell our stories. Udaramuto, to, to, to. That is the Africa that I know. The Nigeria that I know, where we collaborate, even in storytelling, where the one telling you the story may be mama, and then as she tells you the story, she gets you to sing along with her. Why? She wants you to remember who you are. Mama wants you to know your roots. Mama wants you, for every time you remember that story, you remember home. And you remember mama's roasted yam and palm oil and pepper and crayfish. That's what mama wants you to remember. So we sing along. We're people who dance all the time. Even in pain, we dance. We have the dance of the warriors. We have the dance of the women and of the maiden girls. We dance. We dance when we're coming back. We dance when we're going. Do our movies say that today of us? Whose story exactly are we telling? Again, I ask, can we begin to tell our own stories? Can we begin to tell the story, not just of the elephant and the tortoise, but of Queen Kambasa, of Bonny, of Akaso and Wayingi? Can we begin to tell their stories? Some of them told us that our gods and goddesses ceased to exist. But every day I hear grandma say, Amatemeso, me ya mabra. So na kritemetamno, me ya mabra. Why do we say that? because we respect our gods and goddesses. Maybe for you, this will sound a little bit like fantasy or maybe mere fairy tale. But seriously, is it? Is it? You know why you are quiet? Because you're battling with your mentality of colonial bias and traditional rights and wrongs. Not exactly what I thought. Let me tell you what they have done with what we have rejected. Please play for me. Listen to that. You are very familiar with it, but listen to it. The chant of the Africans. That was from Wakanda. But they did not stop there. If you listen, you will hear the cuckoo of the Kalabari people when it will fare. You will hear the horns. Do we need to wait for Hollywood to tell the story of Nollywood? I am waiting someday. Someday, maybe this day, when the true story of who we are is not just told to children near the fireplace, but is told to the world. The story of our strength, the story of our trials, the story of our battles, and the story of our victories. We are not weak. We're not those children with flies all over them that we see on social media. We're not those broken woods everywhere that they show as Africa. We are the strength of the future. And you are already in that future. Viva Nigeria! Viva to all of us. Thank you.